Listen up, because what I am about to tell you is gonna now mess with your head in ways you didn't see coming. This is the story of Ryuto Kageyama, and I swear to God, by the time I'm done, you're gonna question everything you thought you knew about love, lust, and what happens when those two get twisted up with revenge. So buckle up. Part 1. The Good Boy. Ryuto Kageyama was what you'd call a good guy, and I do mean that in the friend-zone way. Though yeah, he'd been there too. I'm talking about the kind of dude who actually believed in soulmates, who thought love was this sacred, untouchable thing. 28 years old, working some dead-end corporate job in Seattle, living in a studio apartment that smelled like instant ramen and broken dreams. But here's the kicker, Ryuto was a virgin, not because he couldn't get laid, but because he was saving himself. Yeah, you heard that right. In 2026, this man was out here waiting for the one. His boys clowned him for it constantly. Bro, you're gonna die with cobwebs down there, they'd say. But Ryuto didn't care. He had this vision of meeting someone special, someone who'd make all that waiting worth it. Then he met Scarlett Monroe. Scarlett was just beautiful. She was the kind of beautiful that makes you forget your own name. Red hair that felt like fire down her back, green eyes that could see straight through your soul, and a body that, well, let's just say God spent extra time on that masterpiece. She walked into Ryuto's coffee shop one rainy Tuesday morning, and just like that, his whole world tilted. "You gonna stare, or you gonna get me a cappuccino?" she said, smirking. Ryuto stammered something stupid, made her drink, and somehow, don't ask me how, got her number. 3 dates later, they were inseparable. Scarlett was everything Ryuto dreamed of. She laughed at his dumb jokes, shared his love for old movies, and when she looked at him, he felt like he was the only person in the universe. She respected his choice to wait, called it romantic, kissed him in ways that made him lose his mind but never pushed for more. 6 months in, Ryuto knew she was the one. On their anniversary, he took her to this fancy restaurant overlooking the bay. Candles, champagne, the whole 9 yards. And after dinner, back at his apartment, Scarlett whispered in his ear, "I'm ready if you are." That night, Ryuto Kageyama lost his virginity. And it wasn't just sex. It was transcendent. It was poetry. It was every love song ever written coming true at once. Scarlett moved against him like she was crafted specifically for his body, whispering his name like a prayer. When it was over, she held him close and said, "I love you. Ryuto, only you." He thought he'd found heaven. He had no idea he'd just walked into hell. Part 2, The Unraveling. For 3 months after that night, Ryuto was floating. He'd become addicted, not just to the sex, though God knows that was incredible, but to her. Every touch, every kiss, every moment felt like proof that waiting had been worth it. Scarlett was his drug, and he was shooting up daily. But then little things started happening. Weird things. Scarlett's phone would buzz at odd hours to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. She'd glance at it, smile slightly, then put it face down. "Just work stuff," she'd say. But who the hell gets work texts at 3 in the morning? She started being unavailable on certain nights. Girls' night, she'd claim. But Ryuto noticed she never talked about these friends, never mentioned their names, never showed him pictures. One Tuesday, he decided to surprise her at her apartment with takeout. When she answered the door, she looked panicked for a split second before forcing a smile. "Baby, I told you I wasn't feeling well tonight," she said, blocking the doorway. Behind her, Ryuto could have sworn he heard movement. A cough, a masculine cough. "Who's that?" he asked. "The TV," she said too quickly. Something cracked inside him that night, but he pushed it down. He trusted her. Love meant trust, right? Wrong? The truth came out the way it always does, by accident. Ryuto was using Scarlett's laptop to check his email when a message popped up from someone named D. The preview made his blood run cold. "Last night was insane. When are you dumping the virgin so we can stop sneaking around?" His hands shook as he clicked. The chat history loaded. Months of messages, months of plans, months of Scarlett laughing about him, about how easy he was, how pathetically devoted, how she and this D guy had been together the whole time, and Ryuto was just, what? Entertainment, a game. There were photos, videos. Scarlett with this guy, this tall, muscular dude with a smug smile, doing things that made Ryuto's stomach turn, doing things she'd done with him while whispering the same damn words. But the worst message, the one that destroyed him, "I almost feel bad sometimes," Scarlett had written, "but watching him worship me like I'm some goddess is such a power trip. Plus, D, You know you're the only one who really does it for me. Ryuto's sweet, but he's so vanilla, so desperate. After we finish this bet, I'm done. Bet. It had all been a bet. Part 3. The descent. Ryuto confronted her that night. Showed up at her place with the laptop, with the evidence, with his heart in pieces. Scarlett didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. She laughed, actually laughed. "Oh, baby, you weren't supposed to find out like this," she said, like she was discussing a minor inconvenience. "Look, it was fun while it lasted. You were a good distraction. But come on, did you really think someone like me would end up with someone like you? Someone like me?" Ryuto's voice cracked. "Yet out boring safe. The kind of guy who waits 28 years to have mediocre sex because he thinks it's special." She air quoted that last word. "Grow up, Ryuto. Welcome to the real world." She slammed the door in his face. Ryuto drove home in a daze. Didn't remember the drive. Didn't remember walking into his apartment. He just remembered standing in his shower, fully clothed, letting the water pour over him while something inside him died. But here's the thing about death. Sometimes something else gets born in its place, something darker. For 2 weeks, Ryuto disappeared, called in sick to work, didn't answer his phone. His boys thought he jumped off a bridge somewhere. But Ryuto wasn't dead. He was transforming. See, betrayal does something to a person. It either breaks you completely or it forges you into something new. Ryuto chose the latter. He hit the gym like a man possessed. 2 hours, then 3, then 4. Channeled every ounce of rage into iron and sweat. Stopped eating garbage. Started eating clean. The weight fell off. Muscle built up. He changed his wardrobe. Threw out the khakis and button-ups. Bought leather jackets and fitted jeans. Got a new haircut. Something edgy. Something that said he didn't give a damn anymore. But the biggest change, his mindset. Ryuto studied, and I don't mean math or science. He studied seduction, psychology. Read books on manipulation, on power dynamics, on exactly what makes people, especially women, tick. He created a fake dating profile with new photos. Ones where he looked dangerous and mysterious. The responses, overwhelming. Ryuto started going out, started meeting women, and here's where it gets twisted. He was good at it. Natural, even. All those years of being emotionally intelligent, of listening, of caring. He weaponized it. Turned empathy into a scalpel. Within a month, he'd slept with 5 different women. Within 2 months, 12. He felt nothing for any of them. But he learned their weaknesses, their insecurities, their desires. Learned exactly how to make them fall, how to make them beg, how to make them believe they were special. Then he'd ghost them. And he felt powerful. Finally, after years of being the nice guy, the virgin, the joke, he felt powerful. But power wasn't enough. Ryuto wanted revenge. Part 5. The game. Ryuto's plan was methodical. He spent 3 months preparing, got in the best shape of his life, cultivated an entirely new persona, confident, mysterious, successful. He quit his corporate job, started a cryptocurrency consulting business that actually took off. Money started rolling in. Then, exactly for months after Scarlett destroyed him, he made his move. He showed up at Viper Lounge, this upscale bar where he knew Scarlett and her friends hung out, walked in like he owned the place, ordered an expensive whiskey, and waited. 20 minutes later, Scarlett walked in with her crew. She froze when she saw him. Ryuto? But this wasn't the Ryuto she knew. This was someone else entirely. Ryuto, she approached, cautiously, her friends whispering behind her. He turned, gave her a slow smile. "Scarlett, long time." She looked him up and down, and Ryuto saw it. That flicker of attraction, of curiosity. "You look different. People change." He took a sip of his drink, maintaining eye contact. "How's D?" She flinched. "We're not together anymore." Shame. He didn't sound sympathetic. "You want a drink?" Against her better judgment, she said yes. They talked. Ryuto was charming, funny, mysterious, gave her just enough to be intrigued, but not enough to feel in control. He mentioned casually that he'd been seeing people, that he'd learned a lot about himself. Scarlett's interest visibly grew. By the end of the night, she asked, "Can I see you again?" Ryuto pretended to consider it. "Maybe. Give me your number. I'll think about it." The power shift was complete. Part 6. The seduction. Ryuto made Scarlett work for it. Took days to text back. Canceled plans last minute. Showed up to dates with casual indifference. Everything she'd done to guys before, he did to her, and it drove her crazy. Scarlett was used to being the prize, the one men chased. But Ryuto was different now. He didn't chase, didn't beg, didn't even seem that interested, and that made her want him more. 3 weeks of this game, and Scarlett was hooked. She started showing up at his place unannounced, texting him paragraphs when he sent one-word replies, dressing provocatively when they went out, trying to get his attention. Finally, one night, she broke. "What do you want from me, Ryuto?" she demanded, tears in her eyes. "Why are you doing this?" He looked at her coldly. "Doing what? This? Playing games. I know I hurt you, okay? I know I messed up. But I miss you. I miss us. There was no us, Scarlett. You made that clear. But there could be now." She grabbed his hands. "I was wrong. I was stupid. You were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I threw it away. Please, Ryuto, give me another chance." Ryuto saw it in her eyes. Genuine desperation. Maybe even genuine feeling. For a moment, the old Ryuto stirred inside him, wanting to forgive, to believe. Then he remembered. The messages. The laughter dot the bet. "Okay," he said finally. Scarlett's face lit up. "Really? Really?" He pulled her close. "But things are different now. If we do this, we do it my way." "Anything," she whispered. That night, they had sex, but it wasn't like before. Ryuto was in complete control, dominant, almost cruel in his intensity, and Scarlett loved it, begged for more, told him she'd never felt anything like this. Afterward, as she lay in his arms, she whispered, "I love you, Ryuto. I really do this time." "I know," he said. He didn't say it back. Part 7. The betrayal. For 2 months, Ryuto and Scarlett were together. He played the perfect boyfriend, attentive, romantic, incredible in bed. Scarlett was completely in love, talking about moving in together, about the future, about marriage. Ryuto documented everything, every date, every intimate moment, every vulnerable confession Scarlett made about her insecurities, her fears, her past. Then, on the night of Scarlett's birthday, Ryuto threw her a surprise party, invited all her friends, her family, her co-workers, rented out a whole venue. It was perfect. During the toast, Ryuto stood up with a microphone. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight to celebrate the most important person in my life," he began. Scarlett beamed up at him, tears of joy in her eyes. 2 years ago, I met Scarlett Monroe, and she changed my life forever." He paused. "She taught me what love really is, what betrayal feels like, what it means to be used." Scarlett's smile faltered. "See, most of you don't know this, but Scarlett and I dated before, and during that time, she was sleeping with someone else, playing me for a fool. It was all a bet, actually, a game to see how long she could string along the pathetic virgin." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Scarlett stood up, face pale. "Ryuto, what are you?" "But here's the beautiful part," he continued, his voice eerily calm. "For the past 2 months, I've been doing the same thing to her. Every kiss, every I love you, every moment of intimacy, it was all an act. Revenge for what she did to me." He pulled out his phone, connected it to the venue screens. Messages appeared between him and his boys, laughing about how easy it was to manipulate Scarlett, how desperate she'd become. Screenshots of him with other women while claiming to be exclusive. The entire relationship was fake, Ryuto said, looking directly at Scarlett's devastated face. "You were right about one thing though, Scarlett. Welcome to the real world." He set the microphone down and walked out, leaving Scarlett sobbing in front of everyone she knew. Part 8. The aftermath. Ryuto drove home that night feeling nothing, not satisfaction, not joy, not even the closure he thought he wanted, just emptiness. He poured himself a drink, sat in the dark, and waited to feel something, anything. His phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "You became exactly what you hated. Congratulations." It was from Marcus, one of Scarlett's friends who'd been at the party. But he wasn't wrong. Ryuto looked at himself in the mirror. Designer clothes, perfect body, cold eyes. He transformed from the victim into the predator, from the heartbroken nice guy into the manipulator. He'd won, but what had he actually won? Days passed, then weeks. Ryuto heard through mutual friends that Scarlett had left Seattle, moved back to California, was in therapy. Part of him felt guilty, part of him felt vindicated. Mostly, he felt alone. He tried going back to his old ways, the meaningless hookups, the games, the emotional detachment. But it all felt hollow now. Every woman he met, he analyzed for weaknesses, for angles to exploit. He couldn't connect anymore, couldn't trust, couldn't feel. Scarlett had broken his heart, but in destroying her, he destroyed himself. The ending, the truth. 3 months after the party, Ryuto got another message, this time from Scarlett. Can we talk, please? Just once. He should have deleted it, blocked her, moved on, but curiosity got the better of him. They met at a neutral coffee shop. Scarlett looked different, thinner, tired, but somehow more real. No makeup, no designer clothes, just raw humanity. I'm not here to ask for forgiveness, she said quietly. I know I don't deserve it. What I did to you was unforgivable. Ryuto said nothing. But I need you to know something. After that first month, after the bet was over, I actually fell for you. Really fell. The last 2 months we were together the first time, before you found those messages, that was real for me. Doesn't matter, Ryuto said flatly. The damage was done. I know. And what you did to me, I deserved every second of it. She looked at him with haunted eyes. But Ryuto, the worst part isn't what you did. It's what you became. Because the man I fell in love with, the real you, he was kind. He believed in love. He had a soul. That man was weak. No. Scarlett shook her head. That man was brave. It takes courage to love like that, to trust like that. What you are now, that's not strength. That's fear wearing a mask. She stood up to leave, then paused. I heard you've been with a lot of women since. I hope one of them breaks through, because the person you've become, he's going to end up alone. And that's a punishment worse than anything you did to me. She walked away. Ryuto sat there for a long time, her words echoing in his head. That night, he went home and looked at old photos. Photos of him before Scarlett, smiling genuinely, eyes full of hope. Then photos of him now, jaw clenched, eyes empty, surrounded by people, but utterly alone. He'd had his revenge. He'd won the game. But the cost, his humanity. Epilogue. 2 years later, Ryuto Kageyama sits in his penthouse apartment overlooking the Seattle skyline. Successful, wealthy, respected in his field, and completely empty. He still goes out, still meets women, still plays the game. But every night, he comes home alone and wonders who he really destroyed, Scarlett or himself. The romantic in him died the night he read those messages. But the monster he became in its place, that wasn't him either. Somewhere between the good guy and the player, the real Ryuto Kageyama got lost. And he's still searching for a way back. Because here's the final truth, the one that'll mess you up. Revenge doesn't heal you. It just makes you the villain in someone else's story, and eventually in your own. Ryuto got his ecstasy. He got his revenge. But heartbreak, that never left. It just changed addresses. The end. So yeah, that's the story of Ryuto Kageyama. The virgin who became the player. The victim who became the villain. The man who sought revenge and lost himself in the process. You wanted a shocking ending. Here it is. There are no winners in the game of revenge, just different kinds of losers. And the saddest part, somewhere out there, Scarlett's probably telling her own version of this story, painting herself as the victim of a psychopath. Because that's the thing about betrayal and revenge, everybody's the hero of their own story, even when they're really the monster. Sweet dreams, folks.